Finally, only 40 minutes late. Not too bad.
The pre-flight checks took a little longer than normal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so
it's good to have all three of us together.
I know it feels like forever.
It's been what, 3 weeks since we've had all three of us?
Is it really? Yeah, I think it has.
2 or 3 weeks.
Man.
And you were the anchor again, John, keeping us all grounded.
Yeah. How's your new job? How's your new job, John?
I start next Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
6 more days. But yeah, it's funny. I almost was about to be the flake for the 3rd week in a row.
Oh.
Because there's a wrestling event going on tonight in Cleveland that I was like 30 seconds from buying tickets. I'm like, wait, no, Wednesday, can't do it. So
that's dedication.
Isn't it? My new boss texted me and he was like, hey, making the schedule for next week. You're still good to start next Tuesday. Any specific time off you need? And I'm like, well, I mean, other than the Wednesday night that we agreed upon, no. So
now I have a question for you for your new job. So it's at a movie theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's the chances of you taking your podcast skills and rolling that into something that helps your movie theater?
Slim, considering that it's a publicly traded company.
Yeah, but I wonder, but you can't have I'm saying on a local level, you couldn't have a podcast about the movies coming out.
I mean, I'm sure I could if it's not if you don't put the brand on display.
Yeah, I was just curious because I know that at Penn Cinema they have that's a privately owned one where the owner does a movie podcast, and it's okay, but he's not a podcaster, and I don't think he knew what a podcast was until someone said, hey, you should do a movie podcast. So it's not as listenable,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because we are the epitome of listenable.
No, but you have to want to do it.
Yes, that's for sure.
It's I don't know.
Well, actually, speaking of your new job, and I hate to do this already, but I'm wondering, is he going to get access to the cool popcorn buckets before we get access to the cool popcorn buckets?
Access? No. I see them first. If all goes like it did at my last job, I'll see them beforehand.
That's good enough for us. That's good enough for us.
Yeah, we just like knowing that stuff exists, and you can tell us about it.
Though I'm having popcorn bucket problems because I got the doorway built for the Falcon, and I'm going to install it probably tomorrow or probably Saturday. Realistically, tomorrow I'll be in a coma. I'm like, I don't know where I'm going to put my popcorn maker and my popcorn buckets because I'm at this point where like some stuff is going to have to go. It's.
It's probably a good thing you didn't get the Mjolnir popcorn bucket then.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, the Force works in mysterious ways.
Well, and that's why I don't want to go to the I want to go to Joe's thing, but I don't want to go to Joe's thing because he has some molds and some casts and stuff like that. And I was like,
he has a full-size Gamorrean guard costume.
Oh yeah, that's a good costume because I've trooped with him when he was in that costume. That's a good costume, and the Greedo's nice too.
Yeah, I haven't seen the Greedo. I've seen the Gamorrean guard a bunch of times, and I'm thinking that's how the size of me now. I mean, I could just wear my work pants in that costume.
Well, the only thing that would interest me is if he had, because I was looking at the vac table, but the vac table is going to go for more money than what I want to spend. I just
have you seen the vac table? It's big enough to fit in 2 parking spots.
Yeah, see.
It's huge.
Yeah, see,
it's a ginormous vacuum table.
Well, I don't know if that's the big one that's for sale. In the pictures, it looks like a small one. It looks like it's probably 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet.
Oh, okay. So he might be selling I know he has 2 at least.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can build your own vac table.
Yeah. The only thing that always worries me about the vac table is the heating element. Everything else I can build, but I watch guys do the metal spool with the heating element, and that seems fine. But I also don't want my electric bill to triple every time I do a pull.
No, I think his is natural gas or propane.
Oh yeah, well I can blow my house up then.
Now I've seen guys use space
probably
heaters.
More realistic.
Yeah, I've seen space heaters, and I've seen guys use ovens. Like they'll literally just take an oven unit that they strip it down and mount it on top It looks like
Yeah.
a like I don't know. But I'm like, I
Completely
don't want to burn
MacGyvered.
my wife tolerates a lot of things, but if she comes home and I burnt the house down so I could pull a set of armor, I think that would probably be where she draws the line. I mean,
Yeah.
um,
But imagine you could have your own line of stormtrooper armor.
yeah, but the blanks, I'd have to because they're tougher than the problem with the 3D printing part. They're tougher than the molds is because if your blanks aren't perfect and strong, you can wreck it with one pull. Like they got to be made of like a heavy stone or like the Anovos made theirs out of stainless steel.
Yeah.
At least that's what they said when they made their TKs. That's why their TKs are so crisp.
Yeah. And you can't use PLA. You'd have to use PETG.
Yeah, well, you couldn't. You wouldn't be able to print a. You wouldn't be able to print a master for that.
Oh, definitely not. Not even
No.
close.
I've seen guys do it.
Yeah, but I'm not saying like the thing with the ABS and all that, you have to. It's almost like you have to plan to have that thing, perfect every time. Because I've seen guys 3D print one and they'll get one, maybe two pulls, and then you're back to because you lose that crispness. And,
Yeah.
But I don't know. I might go. Like I said, I don't have the money to spend and I don't have the space to put it in. But if I could get a generic Jedi or a generic blank of a generic Mando that I could mold, then I could do it. But if he's selling molds, like I know enough about molds that I know I have a price in my head because if a mold only has X amount of pulls, and he used to do a lot of stuff. And the last thing I want to do is spend $300 in a mold tear on me.
Well, I've used, when COVID happened and my position at my last job got replaced, I had a whole bunch of free time on my hands. I went up to Pennsylvania and worked with Joe for several days in the prop shop.
Yeah, he did nice molds, but he did them a little different than me. Like he put caps on them so he could shake them.
It depended on the helmet, but yeah, he has several. I think he has a regular Din. I know he has a TIE pilot helmet.
Yeah. He always used too much stuff. His were too heavy. Because someone came to my house with one of his TIE pilots. It was beautiful, but they used like 3 times more resin than you should have used. Because it feels like that.
It might have been one of the ones that I cast.
Well, it was like the first helmet I cast for Safi. It was unwearable because it was so heavy. It was just weighing on your head. So Marty and I have it looks like a cookbook in my garage, and we weigh everything to the ounce. So when we get a perfect pull, then we write it down, and then our next generation of molds, the molds I'm working on now, when we get the perfect amount, we're going to write it right on the mold. So it's just like here's what you do, But
I love how you keep a manifesto of. I love how you keep a manifesto of all your perfect.
Well, and our measurements are weird because it'll say like 2 lines above the middle line because we use these Dollar Tree plastic cups because we were using Solo, but some of the Solo cups have a weird coating in them and it can throw off the resin. But the cheapo Dollar Tree ones, and the only problem is the one half of the component will eat the cup through about the 5th or 6th time you use it. So we just have a big stack of Dollar Tree cups and we mark them with markers. And Ken's seen how I mark my stuff.
It's definitely not.
I'm not as refined
Henry Ford worthy.
Huh?
Like it's not as organized and systematic as you would hope.
It's a little better though since you've been here, Ken. When it comes to my mold,
it's been several years now since I've done.
Yeah. So I mean, me and I think in one day, Marty and I turned out 7 or 8 clone helmets in one day, and everyone came out perfect. So we got the system down.
Well, the best part too about doing it in layers like that is you don't have to wait as long for each layer to cure.
Right.
And that's one of the
you
cool things.
You don't get bubbles in them either.
Yeah. That was one of the cool things about working in Joe's prop shop is we'd have several molds going at a time. So I'd put layer 1 in this helmet, let it set up, work on layer 1 of the next helmet, let it set up, work on layer 1 of the third helmet, let it set up. By the time I got done with that one, I could go back for the second layer in the first one. And and just go through that way.
Well, and I think 3D printing has hurt the mold making to a certain point, like, because to the average person, a 3D printed clone helmet is no different than a cast clone helmet, and you can't explain the difference until someone's already, because they can get a 3D printed one for $100 or a nice cast one for whatever. I always sold mine for like $125. But I don't know. But anyhow, Zoe just texted me. She submitted her Lucasfilm application for that one job, Ken. The one I sent you, John, because we were looking at it more. We were looking at it more, and I was like, that's exactly what she's going to school for.
Right.
A production assistant one?
Well, yeah. And the production is, I mean, her first production assistant job, she was promoted to second director the first day. So, I mean, but she's, I don't know. She's living the life, man, out in Cali.
Well, I mean, it must be nice. Think about some of the original makers, though, how they started and where they ended up.
Yep. Well, even George Lucas started he wasn't even a film major. Well,
part of that was because he didn't want to, disagree with his father.
Yeah.
His father first wanted him to go to school for business and take over the stationery store kind of thing.
Well, I've dealt with that with my own kids. And it's hard to. I mean, I am so proud of Zoe and what she did, but it's still scary because it's, she's in that weird position where most of the big film houses will not hire you unless you have a full film degree. That's just, that's just how it is. I don't know if I don't want to. I'm glad she's doing it, and I understand the value of a college education, but I also think that is a little tough too. So,
we got Eager and Kevin saying hello.
Yeah. Here, I'm gonna put whoops. But anyway, so let me where's my there we go, chat overlay. Whew. It's been too long. I got the chat up. Hi Kevin, hi Eager. But I think of someone like John. He's going back into the movie business, even though he's coming into the movie theater business. But but like some of those companies, I often wonder if some of those companies have some of them have like stipends for college classes and stuff like that. And just take online classes and get a if someone's going to pay for your degree, of some sort. I still think John would have been good for that job too. But now that you're competing against Zoe, I have to always root for my kid. I'm sorry.
Look, the application was for shits and gigs to begin with, yeah. So.
But you know what? You should keep your eyes open on them because they're the Skywalker sound that Zoe applied for. She just applied like you for shits and giggles, like at the middle of last year. That was a $35 an hour internship.
Oh my God.
They asked her how much she wanted paid, and she was like, I get paid like $12 at Dutch Wonderland. And they're like, no, and it was a $4,500 signing bonus.
Well, and the other part too is if you're willing to play the long game, meaning starting off here and learning it really well and, networking and interacting and just being in the right space at the right time. I mean, not to name drop or anything, but Matt Martin is an absolutely positively wonderful example of that.
Yeah.
What he started doing with Lucasfilm is nowhere near what he's doing now.
Right.
And part of that is just because he grew into that role, whether it's through exposure, through conversations and connections, and just being willing to learn and grow and flex and look at. I mean, he's the head of the story group, isn't he? Or one of the heads of the story
group? One of the heads of the story group, and he's also in charge of their online content. I forget. I was sitting with Hembro talking, and he was telling me all of what Matt's job was because him and Matt are really good friends. And then he was telling me all the stuff that Matt does, and Matt loves being part of the story group, so he wants to make sure whatever job he does for Lucasfilm, he keeps his hand in the story group. And then like Dan, oh man, my mind just went blank. He's the other exec I know. He lives in South Carolina and he works for Lucasfilm. I don't know how that works, but
Well, I mean, some of these things are, you do the work and you connect remotely.
Yeah, well, he does all their licensing, and he checks. Like, he was the one checking to make sure everything in the house was not violating any copyright. which like Zoe's room is fan art. It's like one giant copyright infringement, So, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, you're exactly right, Ken. And Matt Mickelson has really got my brain cranking about this independent film type making of stuff. I have to just keep it turned off right now because I just got to get Zoe to graduate in December, and what I mean, and then no. I can play on my own stuff.
I mean, here's a silly question: how much of Zoe's coursework are you involved in completing?
Oh, none. No, it's just right now my focus is on making sure Zoe's doing well, and that comes down to money. Like her rent in her apartment is more than my mortgage. You know what I mean? Like it's just keeping. I just have to keep. I can't take any on any new projects right now. But I see the spring. If Matt is not filming, I want to be filming something. Marty has a really cool Tusken Raider script that we banged around a little bit.
So that's the kind of stuff that you can do that doesn't cost a nickel.
Right.
So, I mean, I know that we've talked about it on here a couple of times, and I think, John, was it the Beskar Bucket where we were talking about the possibility of doing some of the behind-the-scenes, documentary kind of, recording us at a convention or...
I think we talked about it on both shows.
Yeah, but I think you guys did a really good job. You did talk about that, and I really like that. Because I think, like, when we go to Steel City, if you're not careful, you get caught up. Like, when I went to Steel City, I lucked out and got a lot of pictures when John and Safi were there. But there's been times I went to Steel City and I realized I just took 2 photos the whole weekend. So, like, if you have a plan, if you're like, hey, look, you take pictures and we'll do some sound. With that 360 camera, I always forget it. But that's almost like a film and forget. Mount it on my shoulder and just walk around, and we can do everything in post. But I think that's an awesome idea, because even from suit up, like, I would love to do a video of me suiting Safi up, just the intricacies of putting 000 on, or if I have Vader done, which, again, if I don't have Vader done, I should just throw in the towel, because
no. I understand the sensation of that, but come on.
No, but
it's just a matter of a pause.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I literally have all the parts now. Like, I just have to. And once school is back, this summer, I don't know. I think my free time got the best of me this year, compared to most summers. I'm a little more planned out. I think it was this summer. I don't know if it was the heat, if it was my mental. The girls, Zoe going to California was hard on my brain.
Well, I think this summer was almost like, going up to a really well-stocked buffet.
Yeah.
You put way too much on your plate, and by the time you got back to your table, you couldn't enjoy it all. Even though, the summer's not over, there was lots of options, lots of things there, and you also have to, tally up all the amazing things that you did this summer. I mean, crap, you got a herd of Tuskens together. That was an absolutely positively wonderful day. That took up more than just that day. There was the setup, the teardown, the preparation.
Well, to talk about Tuskens, I'm glad you brought that up. I found the perfect fabric for my Tusken now. I bought that 12-foot drop cloth at Lowe's. No, and it's that tight weave, so it'll do the inner robe.
Okay.
It's a different weave, and it was like $12. So I was like, because we've all done it because we build costumes. You just wander around the store and you're like, oh, that would make a good. And I saw there was one that someone had tore open, and I was like, I grabbed it and I was like, because I didn't want one that was like plastic on one side or something. And,
yeah.
And I was like,
and you also want you don't want one to be so abrasive that
and this is soft
rubbing against your skin.
This is like the rich man's drop cloth. It's not like those ones that are like heavy canvas.
Now, is it big enough to be like one sheet?
One sheet. I can drape it over me, and I'm gonna mark it out, sew it, and make the whole thing.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's yeah. I would like to do the Safi, Kevin. I would love to do that. We're I'm in the midst of upgrading her costume too. So right now I did what makes me get stuff done. I have all the wood for my basement covering the one side of my garage. That's the only way I get stuff done because I can't do anything else till I get it installed. So I just kind of forced myself. But then man, my headphones are shot. There we go. You hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, my headphones they're going in and out. I don't know. I have to put Bluetooth, I think. There we go. Say something.
Hello?
Okay. Hey, I'm lost a channel on these. I don't know why. I don't know. Yeah, there we go. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Yeah, Zach's jumping in.
Oh, is he on Facebook?
Yeah, what did he just sent me a message. Oh yeah, Zach's going to go for his vacuum former. Good. And then I won't have to go for it. I hope it's not like an auction thing, like because I'm bad. I'm the car salesman's best friend because whatever the sticker says, I'm buying it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not a hack.
That's a good thing because most places don't haggle anymore.
Yeah, I just never was. I you know what I mean? Like people are like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm just like, this is what I want. And I hate that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. My mind's a little off tonight. I'm just going back to school. But Rogue One, are you seeing it tomorrow or Friday?
No, there's not an IMAX theater within like 100 miles of me.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I looked and looked and looked, and there's nothing. Nobody's playing it around here, and I was so upset because I haven't seen an IMAX movie since 2010, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Well, like I said, there's no IMAX theaters near here.
Yeah, Kevin, mine might. I don't know if it'll be Light and Magic. Mine is more. It looks better on pictures than, John was there. He's seen my garage. It's not as nearly as impressive as it shows up in pics.
I don't know. It was pretty. It was more impressive than what I got going on. So,
well, so Marty and I were going to suit up for Rogue One. Like we were just going to suit up and walk around. But the IMAX near us is not assigned seating.
Ooh.
So we're just like, you know what? Screw it. We'll just show up and get it. I need a good. I mean, there's no real bad seats in the IMAX, but I don't want to be sitting like right in the front row on the far left or something.
Right. Now, are they? Is it like a one day only thing, or is it?
I think it's one day only. Ken might know. Is the Rogue One release a one day only?
I think it is just the one day because they're also.
And I'm mainly going to see. I think they're showing a preview, an extended preview of Andor or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where it's going to be because I don't think it's going to be in all places.
It's in Lidditz. I got my tickets already, and I think it's not showing in the Delaware one. I don't know if it's showing in King of Prussia either. I'm trying to think where all the IMAXs are. But yeah, I got a ticket. Safi got to work, and so it's just me and Marty. I think some people from Delaware. Donna's coming up. Remember that was at the movie shoot. She's coming up.
Oh, she's coming. Oh, she's coming to you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool.
So
I love Donna. She's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she helps with the Make-A-Wish. She's big with Make-A-Wish and with Lucasfilm and stuff. And yeah, she does a lot.
It is going to be in my area.
There you go.
Yeah, there's not one within 100 miles of me, Ken.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when you become the big regional boss of all these movie theaters, and then you can maybe pick a better area for your living,
or what comes to you,
or just you have them build an IMAX out back.
Right.
I don't really. Again, if I have my choice between IMAX or getting to pick my seat ahead of time, getting to pick my seat ahead of time wins out. You know?
I wholeheartedly agree.
The only IMAX there's an IMAX in Harrisburg, and it's the old style where it's a giant half a dome, and the seats are almost like straight up and down, like the person behind you, their knees are like your head level, like it's like in a weird. Those IMAXs I like.
Yeah, the stadium seating theaters are the best.
Yeah.
The only one that we have like that is near us that I know of is in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
But that's, for me, it's only, like 20 miles down the road.
Now, do you remember Sense-Around in the 80s, I think it was?
No.
Battlestar Galactica was touted as, it was Battlestar Galactica in Sense-Around, and it was the theater. There was very few, but they were supposed to have like seats that shook or something like that. It was supposed to give you all it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what's it called now, D-Box or something crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but I don't know if it ever took off. It was, it was they were trying.
That's something like that should just be at like amusement parks, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, they used to have at Disney like the ants where like water would spray on you, and
see, that's the 4D kind of thing where they shoot water from the seat in front of you, and the seat ripples, and they got the smellogram or whatever the little.
Yeah. The Muppets 4D was fantastic.
Yes, every time we go, we have to watch it. Like I force my family to watch it.
So this episode, I was thinking, to think of our show and start putting it in categories, because I know once, like the next couple weeks are just going to be hectic for me because of school and stuff like that. But after that, I want to start taking all of our episodes and putting them on Anchor, so we have like a real legit podcast. But I wonder if we need segments, like to keep us focused.
Well, do we need segments or do we need topics? Because I don't necessarily think that those are one and the same.
No, right. Well, that's what I mean. So do we need? Well, I was thinking more of like broad segments, not like what movie did you see this week, but more like along the lines to. So every one of our segments, not everyone, but certain segments would be like more for you, Ken, and then we would chime in, and the segment would be like we need a segment of what are you doing on your podcast, like so then we can hear about the best car bucket, we can hear about the forces behind Star Wars, stuff like that. That would be a segment that would tailor differently to each one of us, because I'd be like, well, there's no Creedcast right now, so mine would be very short. Yeah. But I was thinking also, like I was driving the other day, and I was thinking, like, what if we had a segment where, like, what podcasts are you listening to, and in disclaimer, not including any of ours, or what, you know what I mean, like, so or what non-Star Wars podcasts have you found, or I mean, there are non-Star Wars podcasts.
What?
I know.
Is there really?
But if someone, because I often think if someone enjoys or at least puts up with us doing this, they might like the other things we like as well.
That's a stretch.
Well, they might. Like what podcast, Ken, what non-Star Wars podcast do you listen to?
I don't.
You don't? You have no non-Star Wars podcasts at all?
That I listen to on a regular basis? No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I've listened to some non-Star Wars podcasts.
But you have no regular non-Star Wars?
No regular ones. No, definitely not.
How about you, John? Well, you don't listen to podcasts now.
I do listen to one other podcast.
What is
that?
It?
That is the PKA podcast. Painkiller already. It's a couple YouTube guys that they do like a 4-hour podcast. So.
Oh, they're trying to be like us. I see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except for they're on their 600th episode.
Oh, well,
So.
yeah.
Plus, they've got another show called Painkiller Nearly, PKN, and that's on like episode 300. So they got quite a few on us.
Yeah. Yeah, well, but I was thinking like segments like that, like what troops have we done? What troops have we come? Because eventually we'll all be hopefully being trooping more. It seems like the floodgates of trooping events is opening very slowly. I don't know how it is on your end, Ken.
Well, I wouldn't say it's opening slowly. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's opening slowly for me. It's just for me personally, I don't get to as many of them as I would like. So I mean, because I live about 45 minutes from Philadelphia, I get the benefit of the New Jersey group that does stuff and the Pennsylvania group that does stuff. So oftentimes Pennsylvania and New Jersey are doing stuff on the same weekend. And then it doesn't mean I can necessarily go to either one.
Right. Well, no, it's like, it seems like with at least with Karita, we had tons of events all over the state, and then COVID hit. Because it used to be like on Free Comic Book Day, there was you could go anywhere to do a Free Comic Book Day, and then this last Free Comic Book Day there was like 3 or something like that.
Yeah, and I think it may be less of that. There are less events, and maybe because of COVID, there are less people going to those events.
Yeah, well, that could be too. That could be
because I know for us for a while in New Jersey, even the armor parties were less populated because folks were nervous. They were concerned about getting together in groups. We even for a while had them set up that only so many people could come, and we had to make sure that the space that we were in was broad enough so that folks could be 6 to 12 feet apart. And even when if you were helping someone, you were wearing a mask and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, that's what I wonder. Like with ours seem to have more in Pennsylvania, more groups running along the eastern coast or the eastern border of PA, up and down from Philly all the way north. But we don't seem to have as much in the middle of the state like we did in the past.
Gotcha. Okay. Kevin's got good news.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, well, again, you should check your local IMAX, because if they're not assigned seating, that means you want to get there early. So it all depends. The one near us, you have to just be there early. I'm looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to seeing a Star Wars movie in the theater, because the last one I saw in the theater was when we rented it for Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, when you saw you showed Empire, right?
Yeah, we did Book of Boba Fett. We did Holiday Special Cartoon, Book of Boba Fett, and then we watched Empire Strikes Back.
Nice,
because you get a 3-hour window to rent I forget what they call it. It's called renting. I don't know. Well worth it. If your movie theater has that, I'll do it again at Christmas this year when Zoe's home. We'll probably just watch, since I didn't get to see Andor is going to be the first Star Wars I didn't get to see with her.
Well, I mean, I know that Disney Plus has that share feature. So in theory, the two of you could watch it together from separate places at the same time.
It only works if you have separate accounts. See, she's on my account. Like, you can have 5 people.
Yep.
You can't share watch with people on your account. We tried it when she was in Temple.
Okay.
So, because I thought about that too. But yeah, but I don't know.
So to go back to your idea of the segments.
Yeah.
So I definitely think there's possibilities there, and it may vary from episode to episode. So for instance, if we know that none of us have a troop that we're in or going to, then maybe that's the segment we skip this go round.
Right.
And then next week we know that, Mike's going to be doing this event. So we spend some time, even if it's called, Convention Corner. And then, we talk 10, 15 minutes about the event and, what made it exciting and, who we went as, who we saw. Even if one thing that we haven't done a lot of, we've done it a little bit, but not as much as we could, even if because this is both video and audio. we put together, a handful of photographs from the event and say, hey,
yeah,
this is me with so and so. This is the group that I was with. I'm the third TK from the right kind of thing.
Well, and the other thing I was thinking too is we could do Unifying Fan Network. We could do honorary or podcasts we think that would belong in the Unifying Fan Network. Like not officially or whatever, but hey, this I listened to this podcast and they meet this episode meets all the criteria.
Well, I mean, we could do one of those right now. I mean,
give us one. Give me one.
So give us blast points.
Blast points, okay.
Blast points. Have you guys ever listened to blast?
I think I'm looking right now to see if I think it's on my podcatcher.
So this is done by two gentlemen. They have lots of guests and visitors and so on. Jason and Gabe, and they are absolutely positively our kind of people. I mean, they have done episodes on the sounds of Star Wars. They've done episode on the art books. They've done episodes on reviews of Star Wars. So, and they've interviewed Tom Spina. They had just Nick Malay, just absolute wonderful guests. And they love talking about the makers. They love talking about how these things came into being, and they're so upbeat, positive, optimistic, silly, fun, creative. They are if I were to cast a net and say I wanted to catch this podcast in the Unifying Fandom, that would be one of the shows.
Okay, so that's Blast Points. That's a good one. It is on my podcatcher. I have so many Star Wars ones that I have to get a little, like in the summer I get a little pickier because I don't drive as much. But yeah, so that's Blast Points. I'm looking at my list of Star Wars one here on top. Have you listened to the Dad Batch?
The Dad Batch?
Yes, the Dad Batch. I think I sent something, or on Facebook I posted. It's guys that, so when at Celebration Anaheim, when they had the cosplayers dressed up as the Bad Batch that came up in front of the panel, it was the Bad Batch, and then that's all those guys, and they're all fathers, and they all build costumes, and I think they're all in the 501st Rebel Legion, all that kind of stuff. And they're on episode 3. It's called the Dad Batch.
Oh, I gotta check that one out.
Yeah, they're good, and their personality, it's pretty funny because their personalities are all. I wouldn't say they're all like the Bad Batch, but it's pretty funny. Oh yeah,
good to see the Arcs joining us.
Yeah, Arc sees your banner. Hang on a sec. Hey, Saf, you might have to turn that down a little bit. She's playing. I didn't want Fortnite to be coming into our Star Wars. Yeah, I have the Dad Batch. I'm trying to think. I have the Beskar Bucket. I have Father and Son Galaxy.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Kerwin and Keith, wonderful people.
They just recently interviewed DJ Elliott.
Yeah. Let's see, Blue Harvest. That's Haas Barker. That's one of Steel Saunders' friends. Steel Wars. I love Steel Wars is one of my top. Rogue Rebels.
You told me about Full of Sith too.
Full of Sith is good.
Children of the Watch I've heard of, but I don't think I've listened to too many of their episodes. Kevin was mentioning Children of the Watch in the chat area.
The 501st cast I like. I think that's one of the first ones I started listening to.
Is that different than Rexing Around?
Yeah. The 501st is the Rexing Around's good too. Rexing Around's a better video one, I think, to be honest with you. The Cantina Cast is another one. Geeky Bubble used to be the Wookiee Gunner. Now they're on hiatus until they just do the animated Star Wars. It's Jonah Marie Macinas and her mother. That's another good one.
How about Sky Talkers? Have you ever listened to Sky Talkers?
I have talked to the Sky Talkers a little bit. I think I was sitting with one of them in Chicago at the podcaster meetup. They had the Chicago podcaster meetup was a little better than the Anaheim podcaster meetup. But it was just a bunch of we just filled the whole side of the one hotel in Chicago.
That's cool.
The Hyatt, I think it was the Hyatt, and it was just all podcasters. And I was there with Jonah Marie. I forget who else. A bunch. It was just fun talking.
How about Talking Bay 94?
Talking Bay 9. Isn't it that? Did that used to be a toy? Was that a toy one? Did that start out as a toy one?
I'm not sure. I thought it was always about the behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, okay, I might think of Cargo. I think there's one called Cargo Bay or something. It was
okay.
Geek Dudes was the ones. That's the guys I was sitting with. And there's the Sisters with Sabers is good. That has language, so you got to be careful.
Well, so does Blue Harvest though.
Yeah, Blue Harvest. Yeah, Blue Harvest.
Yeah, that's not for children. Blue Harvest is not.
Blue Harvest. I can't even hang that on my bulletin board at school because their one theme song is a little weird.
Yeah, no children should listen to that one.
Yeah,
I've only listened to 2 episodes, and I don't know if I'd put it on my list of regulars. But I mean, it was.
Yeah, I just know I know Haas a little bit, and I found out of him. The other one, I'm trying to think.
So actually, as we're talking about this idea of segments, and this is something that I talked about it with John, is that we could have one portion of our show be this live stuff. And then let's say it's 90 minutes of live where we get to interact with folks like Kevin and E-Girl and Ark and so on and talk about a topic or, a series of topics. And then at the end of that live session, then the 3 of us get together and record this other piece that then gets posted at a later date. So in one night's time, we're actually creating 2 bits of work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not bad.
Or in our case, we could do 2 segments after the live stuff with the amount of time we spend talking.
That's true. Well, the other thing is, I want to start thinking about doing conventions, like live recordings at conventions.
John, you see where this is going? Like,
look, I'm trying. I would love to do that.
So here's going to be my request for you. It's homework for the teacher.
Okay.
Write some of these things down so we don't. I know we have the benefit of the recording or whatever.
Yeah.
But so that the idea doesn't get lost, and we then put effort out into making those things happen. Because I think that idea of conventions is fantastic.
Because I think of where you and I sit, Ken. It's a little tougher with John, possibly Steel City, but Steel City, at least for me, for the last 5 years, has not been overly receptive to podcasters. And they weren't hostile or anything. I just think they don't have the space.
Well, is it also possible that they haven't had a podcaster presence enough to know that it's worth having? Well, they haven't had anybody organized enough to say, "Hey, this is what we'd like to do, and this is how we'd like to do it. Give us a shot."
Right, and see, for me, if I can get them to listen to me and just give us an August spot, because the best time for me to do a live at Steel City would be August, because I'm not at work. I could be out there on a Friday. I could set up, do all that, because I have the stuff for remote, and especially post-COVID, you don't even need half the stuff you used to need, compared to when we would have Zoe plugged into a computer that ran to a camera that was trying to find the Wi-Fi, and I have wireless mics.
Does Steel City have those tables for the named cosplayers?
No.
Okay.
The problem with Steel City is they're really outgrowing their space. But if they move, I think they destroy what Steel City is. If they move down to center Pittsburgh, I think you lose some of what makes Steel City a good con, at least in my opinion.
I agree.
Because it's that weird. You have never been to Steel City.
Not yet.
It's you're trapped at the con and there's nothing around, and it's a weird. It's when you go there, it's con life the whole time you're there.
Yeah,
And if you put it in the city, then people got to pay for parking. It starts spreading out, and you lose some of that.
Yeah, Ken, it is. When he says there is nothing to do, there is nothing to do. You can go get food or go to the convention. That's it. You are in con mode 24/7.
I mean, there's a mall there, but it's not a very good mall.
It's half of it's shut down.
Yeah.
It's hard. It hardly could be considered a mall anymore.
Yeah.
So it's a big building.
Yeah.
Well, and I know with Steel City, I heard they're moving some of the celebrities into the hotel. That back, the back end of the room, the back of the hotel, they're going to have like some of the stuff out over there too. Some of the people that pay the extra stuff, which is good. It'll clear up some space. But Ken, if I could, the problem is you can never get a table. Like they'll put the tables up for sale for the next con before that con's up. And if you previously rented a table, you get first dibs. Before the day ends, the last day of the con ends, the tables are all full. Like you can't. There's no space. Like there's no tables to rent.
Well, because I've never been there, really have no frame of reference to what's possible. Because you had mentioned we don't need a big space. So is there a way?
There is no space, Ken.
Mm-mm.
There's not corners. They now, but see, here's my thought on Steel City is worst case is we do a show from the lobby of the DoubleTree, because the DoubleTree people, unless you're setting something on fire, they don't bother with you. There's people playing video games and magic all, so if you can do like a small live show from there, it kind of like make that niche happen. Like because if the summer would be the best, because you could go outside and like right on the side of the building, you could have it set up and they wouldn't even bother with you, because the convention building's a weird setup. It faces away from the hotel. So you literally have to walk around the building to get in the entrance. And so there's tons of walls where cosplayers go to take pictures and stuff, because it's just a big stone wall.
Well, not to sound like a criminal or anything, but if the three of us are able to get together and go to Steel City in December, we can case the joint and think this through, and it'll give us between December and, to your point, August to come up with some idea that we can then present to this group, and or we do what we were talking about and put together some plans for filming some of these bits that we then cobble together afterwards.
Vader in the mall. We could go across to the mall. We just walk right across to the mall. We get bits central. Yeah,
because the mall people also do not care.
I know people are walking in with like giant swords, and they're just they just look at you.
Well, that's where you ask them to do the fun stuff. So one day I asked Heather to go out and take pictures of me in my Kennex costume, and I asked her to go with me to the local GameStop.
Yeah.
And so we went in and said, "Hey, is it okay for us to take some pictures in the store?" Yeah, just don't put me in it, and don't put the name of the, don't showcase the name of the. That's fine. Just it was the employee, me, Heather, and then one random person was coming in as we were going out, and they just walked by looking at me and just carried on their business. So doing those kind of things in costume can be quite fun.
Well, and have you seen Starkiller's display? The Starkiller base, or Starkiller Garrison's display now?
No, not
their
yet.
display. It looks like they got rid of the table format. Like I think they have a little table off to the side. Like they got rid of the format of giant barrier table with a crap of stuff you can't touch, and then grumpy people sitting behind it. They got rid of that format, and they have the spikes with all the Stormtrooper helmets on it. So you can stand right there with them as a background. And Starkiller, if anyone, if I talked to Starkiller, they would probably let us broadcast from their spot. I would almost, Zach would, the head of them would.
If that's the case, then why don't we build an episode around that idea?
Well, that might be a good behind the scenes. That might be a.
Well, it could be behind the scenes, and or it could be the opportunity for us to like connecting to John's Beskar bucket idea of, makers talking to other makers, so where you get to interview 4 people from Starkiller Base.
Yeah.
What costumes do you have? What costumes would you like to have? What are you excited about at this con? And then you do that with several of them, either in costume or not in costume.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I think you and I have it better at the Oaks, because there's no shortage of space at the Oaks. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
The only downside to the Oaks is the sound, because Zoe has done some panels at the Oaks and it's terrible. It's not the best to broadcast because there's so much sound.
Well, maybe it's a matter of instead of broadcasting from there, recording to broadcast later.
Well, see, and I have wireless lapel mics that I can plug into
cool.
So you can clip it and you have a battery pack on your thing. You plug it into the board and you I only have 2, but 2 people could do a good podcast without it. Knocks out a lot of that background noise. And but yeah, like the Oaks would be a place, and the behind the scenes stuff. I think I just think that would be neat, because to see what we do, because I think there's still that misconception that all these costumers are these super duper over talented, snobby, rich people that have, and none of us are anything at all. Like, I mean, I'm not saying we're not super talented, but I can show pretty much anyone what to do, what I do, if they give me enough time. Like, I'm not, setting the world on fire.
From a distance, our stuff may look fantastic. I think I look good in some pictures, but if one of the prop guys or gals from the show were to come up to me, like, I don't know if that's really all that great.
Well, I can say I honestly got a compliment from the prop guy that does the painting for the live action. So
I'm glad you picked up on that lobbed pitch.
I know at least one of my helmets is that good. It's funny. Zoe was talking to those guys today, and the guy who does the sculpting said, "Oh, so I heard you own one of my helmets, and I've trained Zoe well." She said, "Yeah, no, I own 3 of them."
We've already got one person who's already committed to come and seeing us in action.
Yeah, there you go. Well, now, I know, but Ark is. Aren't you in the South?
He's in Maine.
Oh, Maine. Oh, that's right. I'm thinking of someone else.
He might be in the south of Maine.
Maine.
I think.
I was in Maine. Wrong. I was in Maine for a week when I was a kid, and I got bit by so many black flies. I was like, I'm never coming back here, because we were like by a pond, and they were like, or a lake, and they were like, now don't swim in there because there's leeches, and don't stand near the water, you'll get bit by flies. I'm like, flies don't bite, man. That was, oh my god, it was like horse flies on steroids. And
Ark told us he's up north. He's almost Canadian.
What's the Canadian garrison's name? Is there more than one garrison in Canada?
I would guess there is, because Canada's pretty darn big. Yeah, I think the black flies are like 3 meters wide.
Well, I don't know, man. That was because I just remember we went for like one of those, when you're a kid, you go on mission trips where you like help set up camps or something like that, and they were like, our choices were Virginia and Maine, and I remember seeing on the paper it said there's no snakes or no poisonous snakes in Maine. I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go to Maine.
Yeah, that's because the flies kill them.
Yeah. Stormtroopers are across the border. Well, there's 501st members on every continent.
Not Antarctica.
Yes. I don't know if it was scientists or something, but if you look in one of the old issues of Star Wars Insider, they took their armor to Antarctica and took pictures.
So does that make it an official troop?
I don't know.
Do they get credit?
You know what? Not a single one of them had a sand trooper. I mean, a snow trooper.
What a missed opportunity.
Yeah. So I only see when I troop. Now I'm sure this isn't true, but it always seems to me I only see snow troopers in the summer. Like, we'll troop a cold troop, and there's not a snow trooper anywhere. But like, we were at that Reading Phillies game, it was 98 degrees, and there is a snow trooper. I'm like, oh, you have to be dying in that thing, you know. And we have a lot of tall troopers because I haven't seen a lot now. And I get jealous of these guys. They're like 6'4". I'm like, why wouldn't you just do Vader? You know, I'm physically going to cripple my feet with these lifts so I can be Vader. You know, and you can just walk in and be Vader. So,
well, I think with Vader, there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Where with the troopers, I mean, yeah, it's cool and everything, but they can just show up and do whatever.
I guess. I am 5'10". If I stand up straight, I could probably get another half inch, but my one knee got messed up, so I'm just skirting 5'10". I think John's what, like 5'9"?
Yeah, I think we're both 5'9".
Yeah. And then Marty's like, I think Marty's 5'11", but he does Chewy. It's just funny, like when Marty did Chew, when I talk to Marty, it's like he finds out what something really is, and that's what he strives for. Because he's like, Peter Mayhew was this tall, and then the mask added this much, and then this much. So this is how tall I have to be. Because I've seen guys do Chewbacca, and I think they're like 8 foot tall. They're just like, oh, let's just do, they don't just Google how tall was, Chewbacca. So, but Marty does Vader. He was the first person I talked to when I trooped. I think it was my second or third troop. It was the Toys R Us midnight release of Clone Wars toys. Like the cartoon Clone Wars, and he was Vader. He did Revenge of the Sith Vader, and I trooped with him all night, and we were suiting down. And I was like, "Oh, you tall guys, And then he took his boots off. I was like, "Yeah, you're the same height as me." So.
Well, and the other thing for me when it comes to some of those characters, even if they're not at that height, as long as they have that presence.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I would do well with a Vader who was 5'2", but
yeah, we have like a 5'6" Vader in our garrison. So like the helmet, because I wore Marty's Vader with smaller lifts, and the lifts put me up to 6'2", and with the helmet it put me up to like 6'6".
Gotcha.
And yeah, the presence, like my shoulders are bigger. My shoulders are bigger than Marty's, so he has his Revenge of the Sith, his chest piece set up high, and that was the only thing I didn't like because it pushed the helmet down into my neck. So my chest piece doesn't have to sit up high; it'll just sit right on my shoulders.
Gotcha. But so would you say Marty's a petite Vader?
No, he looks good in his Vader, but yeah, because he wears shoulder pads when he wears Chewie, and Chewie doesn't have broad shoulders, but you need Marty's big with silhouettes, and it's just his photography in nature. So he makes sure that the silhouette looks nice.
Yeah.
So now I'm thinking of all this. I was like, man, I just want to shoot some more of the Falcon. I should send those stuff for sale to Matt. He could buy that interior of the Falcon, that cockpit.
Yes.
Right.
Doesn't cost anything to send the link to him.
Yeah.
Just do it.
I don't know how you justify that expense for a independent film. I bought an interior of a Falcon. I would think unless you had a pickup truck, the transport would be
a box truck.
Would be, huh?
You could rent a box truck.
Yeah, but would that fit in a box? I don't know how big it is. You'd have to rent one of those like
a moving truck,
huh?
Like a U-Haul, like a moving truck.
Yeah, no, but the trucks like you rent from Home Depot that have like 3 tailgates, like the whole bed's just flat.
Oh yeah,
yeah, just strap it on there. That'd be fun just to drive around with. We trooped, so Maryland's like our garrison. Sometimes they go a little overboard on protecting Lucas Wright's copyright and stuff like that. I don't know if you've run into those kind of people before, where they think they're like the copyright police. We have not heard from the inflatable Falcon people. That would be definitely in this segment if we found that. But we trooped in Maryland. There was this church. I don't know if it was a church. It was some religious organization. And every year they did a corn maze. And it was always a knockoff of what was ever popular. And so they made an interior of the Millennium Falcon on the back of a truck. And the characters were almost Star Wars-esque. And then we trooped in front. So it was like the guy, he wasn't Luke, but he looked kind of like Luke. And
so like Hardware Wars?
Yeah.
Live and in person?
And when I go down to IKEA in Maryland, they always have a billboard on this one field. And like one year they did Lord of the Rings knockoff, but it was like something ring or something, and they did a Harry Potter knockoff one year. And so, but we trooped it one year. I was like, all right, I don't think our garrison would really fall for that. But, well, Ark, you're 5.
Sometimes I think, so let's say you hear about that event and the garrison doesn't get. Who's to say you don't just go?
Oh yeah, I know.
I'm just showing up in my costume. It fits the requirements of somebody looking like somebody else.
Well, I also think certain people get overly. They think Lucasfilm is watching. Lucasfilm doesn't care. They're happy as long as we're not like murdering people in our costume. I don't think they're not. They got bigger fish to fry than a bunch of fans.
I mean, there's been Star Wars strip shows and stuff like that, and I've never heard of them sending them a cease and desist kind of thing.
Right.
Or what is it? What not Boodle. I'm trying to think. Cabaret. That's what it is.
Yeah,
Star Wars Cabaret.
Yeah.
So it's a little fancier than a strip show.
That's what.
Welcome back, John.
What did I miss?
Oh, we were talking about knockoff Star Wars. I did an event in Maryland one year where it was a knockoff Star Wars float. It was almost looked like the Millennium Falcon. It almost would look like Luke, and then we marched in front of it. And then the only bad part about that troop in general was it was like a 2-mile parade, and then all the troopers climbed in the back of the pickup truck, except I was the only guy in TK. I couldn't. So they had a box truck, a box panel, like a tool wagon where you put tools. I had to ride in that. They had to close. It was completely dark, and I had to stand up and hold a rail with my helmet on and everything for like 5 miles. And then they opened the ramp because it was just an empty like utility trailer because I couldn't sit.
Yeah, that sounds like the beginning of a horror movie.
Oh yeah, they were like, because I had two choices to walk back 2 miles where we came from or ride in the back of the truck. So I mean in the trailer, because I was like, I can't sit, and I couldn't take my armor off because we were like out in the middle of nowhere. Like, so I was like, I'll ride.
The only thing that gets in the way of me sitting is my cod piece, and so thankfully my costume is built in such a way that I can just remove the cod piece at will, and if I need to sit, I can just take that off and sit down.
See, my TKs, the back is not cut on my Sand Trooper. It's cut. My TK, it's not. And my main thing that keeps me from sitting in TK is I'm just too fat. I mean, if you get a thin guy in a TK, man, I've seen him do somersaults and sit and all that kind of stuff. So
fall down at will.
Yeah, take dives. Like Zach's falling down. So Vader, I can sit. Gives me a little bit of a wedgie because I have the one-piece undersuit. But Vader, I can sit. But then you have a 50 capes you got to worry about stepping on and sitting on. And I'm gonna put like orange duct tape along the bottom of my cape just so people don't step on my cape.
Well, that's not gonna help.
No.
It's noble thinking, but
I can sit in both of my costumes, thankfully.
There you go.
Yeah. That's why in a TK is still kind of startling to me. It's like, how do I feel about standing?
But see, you did well in a TK. You will never troop as long as we did that movie that day.
Yeah.
Because that was just like that one time we were just standing there forever.
Yeah, no. I mean, Celebration, it's possible. It's conceivable if you go to Celebration, you could be in costume that long. Not saying you'd want to be in costume that long, but it is possible.
But you won't notice it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be so hopped up on energy, just
Safi was in her
adrenaline.
6 and 7 hours a day, I think. the one day
in 000.
In 000.
Get out of here! There's no way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Because it took us. You got to remember, it took us the first time we took her out. It took us over an hour just to get to the con floor from stopping from taking pictures, and then we were in. She was in it for like another 4 hours. We just went to a table, took her head off. I got her a drink, put it back on. She was in it for another hour and a half, and then we walked another hour back.
Yeah. See, I had a bladder the size of a walnut, and I don't think I'd last that long in a costume like that.
Well, and in Quinn, he was in his biker scout. He was just so excited to be, because we had just got his biker scout finished not too long before Celebration in Chicago, and he was just, I brought it out in my van. Like my van was like, it was packed. Like there was no room for any, like we were just all wedged in there because we had 000 as 2 totes and a table. You know, we had my TKs. Zoe had all her totes, and we took Quinn's biker scout, and he wore it like from morning till night. Like he just, he was just wearing it all day. So
yeah, I don't know what it is. To your point though, Ken, like I also have the bladder of a walnut, but it's so weird whenever I'm at conventions or in costume, I don't notice it because I purposely, I don't eat, I don't drink. Solves that problem.
Okay, you got to drink when you're in costume.
Well, okay, I drink the smallest amount that I have.
No, you have to hydrate. You'll sweat it out, because I've seen guys take a header in their costume too, because they're worried about peeing. Because when I first trooped, I was the same way. I was like, man, what am I going to do? And then I realized I sweat most of it out anyway. But you got to be careful. You got to be careful with that, because that Kylo, you know how warm it was when you wore it. When you're out there trooping in the summer, you got to be careful with it.
Yeah, so, Kylo, I will have to hydrate.
I think we could do an entire episode on healthy costuming tips.
Yeah, air cooled suits. I've seen those. A lot of the Royal Guards wear them. It's a unit where you put ice in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically just has a fan that sucks air in over the ice and sends it up 2 air hoses up their back. But some guys have tried like those suits. The problem is most of it just doesn't. It's not comfortable to wear under the armor. I've seen some of the X from Airsoft, and I tried a bunch of the other stuff too.
And see, I think one of the challenges with those kind of setups is they're designed for a different application. So, you're wearing normal clothes over the top of them. You're not necessarily wearing something as restrictive as a costume. Now, it might work in some costumes. Like I think one of those cooling setups might work under my Mando.
Yeah.
But it may not work under all of them.
Well, and so I came in through when I had Zoe and Safi, so I had to watch my stuff and their stuff. So I tried to make my stuff as simple as possible. And a lot of guys are putting fans in their helmets, and I never used fans because when I played paintball, they had fans that went on top of your masks, and that buzz, even though it was really quiet, bothered me. It just And then I wore Marty's Vader helmet for about 2 hours with the fan, and it was nice, but I could not hear, because it was little CPU fans, and they were just humming enough. And then with the Vader helmet and restriction of your sound and stuff, someone had to literally put their face right in front of my face and talk to me for me to be able to hear them. So you have to look at all that. Let me see.
Yeah, it definitely takes some flexing and figuring it out, because I don't think those setups are designed for all applications.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, so Ark was saying about 501st approved. Price doesn't guarantee you approval. You can get approved inexpensively. You know what I mean? So but some of the best anti-fog systems I've seen is the strips you put inside. You know what I mean? Like you can put a piece of material inside with the with the stormtroopers, I used to glue my eye lenses in or tape them in. My sand trooper, it's actually bolted in on the earpiece and it comes around. So there's a space underneath it. You can't see it from outside. And my sand trooper never fogs up. So
Kylo never fogs either. That's a mesh screen.
Yeah.
No lenses.
Well, and that's what you have to think of in a costume too. Like I look at the guys, like I look at Marty with Chewie, he's seeing through his own eyes. He doesn't have to worry about that. So you kind of find the costume and you just do one you like, of course, but you have to know your own limitations. Safi has always been like a trooping beast, man. She was a Jawa. She was one of the first suited up and the last suited down. Same when she was a Tusken. So I had no worries about her. And with her new 000 costume, I don't know if I'll have it done by December, but it will. Her chest piece weighs more than almost all of Dan's whole C-3PO. So when I redo it, her whole suit will be really light. So
she's not going to know what to do with herself.
I know.
She should be able to move.
Well, I'm gonna try fiberglass line, and then I'm gonna line it with like a satinish type material, so it moves a little better too. You see what's it say? Do you know any? I think there is. I want to say there might be a CRL for one of those clones. I'm not sure, but here's the thing, huh?
I would be shocked if there wasn't.
The again, what's nice about that is if you build it, you can make a CRL. And they've made CRLs to me that don't even really make sense. And now John's going to hate me saying this, but they make the live action Rex. You know, so you can do animated Rex or live action Rex. Well, there hasn't been a live action Rex yet. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you count Return of the Jedi live action Rex?
Right. Well, that would, but he would not be. He would be Rebel Legion then.
Yes, there is a 2D Clone Wars Fordo.
What's the parentheses they put for that? Like you know how they have the, is it micro series or something?
No, it's
just
the ability CW.
John, do you have the ability to put the link to that CRL in the chat for
or yeah, we can put it. Yeah. We can put a picture of it up too. I'm just looking at all the clones. Attack of the Clones, ARC Trooper.
Hang on.
Phase 1.
Also,
I primed some of my clone armor, so I have too many irons in the fire.
And you want to add more with movie making and
yeah. Oh yeah, I know.
Okay, just putting it out there.
Wow, there is a delay on the chat functionality here. Maybe not. Why did it not? What?
Which helmet did I send you home with? Did I send you home with a pilot or a clone?
Pilot.
John. Oh, okay.
Pilot and the Imperial Cadet.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Why is it not? Oh, it's probably because it is a link.
What's the name of that? What's the name of that when you're doing?
So if you just go to the like whole CRL page,
I'm in the troop. I'm in the Clone Wars detachment page.
Ah, yeah.
Is it like TC, CT?
It's AR.
AR.
Yeah.
AR. ARC Trooper. Okay, here we go.
Yep. ARC Trooper.
Fordo.
Parentheses CW Fordo.
There we go. Here we go. I got it. And it looks like, honestly, the armor is it looks like the armor isn't even different than the regular animated.
Yeah, that's just the normal.
It's probably just the paint job
and the helmet. Oh, and no ribbing on the neck seal.
Yeah, well, all the clones have no ribbing on the neck seal.
Yeah, I thought the realistic ones had a
ribbing. Oh, maybe realistic, but the animated ones. Yeah, so there you go. There's one. There you are, Fordo. So this armor looks exactly like the armor I just got. The neck piece looks just a little more basic, but the belt looks the same. The holsters just look a little different. The helmets,
the whole chest setup is the same.
The hand plates are the same. The back plate's different.
Yeah,
the back plate is different, and the pauldron's different. The ab looks the same. Kidney belt looks the same. I think the cod piece might be different. That cod piece looks a little different. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. The same goofy shoes on the pistols are different.
Are those Crocs?
No, they're a weird kind of shoe, but the shoes are different too. But I think they're the same shoe. They just you have to put this strip of material over them.
I have never seen shoes like that before that I know of.
Yeah, if you took it off, they're not Crocs, but they're pretty close to Crocs. They're like Star Wars Crocs. I don't know.
Yeah, I hate the clone shoes, honestly.
I gotta paint mine.
Oh, that's funny. Ark asked the same question. Are those Crocs? Great minds think alike, buddy.
But they, I have to paint mine the rust color. So I have to strip the polish with acetone so the paint sticks to the. But
can't you cover it with Plastidip?
Well, do they make rust color Plastidip?
No, you cover it with Plastidip and then put the rust paint over it.
I have a whole can of Plastidip. Maybe I can't get it on the soles because I think the soles have to stay white. I have to look at
I know you can put Plastidip on foam and then paint the foam. That's what a lot of the.
I will have to check that out. Yeah,
just don't do it on your fancy Crocs. Do it.
Are we trying to figure out how to paint the shoes? I'm sorry, I got sidetracked with the conversation.
Yeah.
Are the shoes you have leather?
I don't know if they're leather or pleather. I haven't got that far down. I was just thinking about painting them the other day.
Oh, I thought they were like those Star Wars Crocs.
No. These are like a dress shoe that on this armor I bought.
Yeah. I was gonna say just use either leather paints or acrylic paints could probably work on that.
Well, the problem is they got to match the rest of the armor. So that's why I was going to acetone them and hit them with, because I found the rust color in spray paint, and so I'm just going to mark this sucker off and paint. Go to my just paint away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know. There has to be a Keeley. I had someone do a bomb squad guy, which I thought was an odd one. Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, John, I think Kevin was asking about getting one of those banners behind you. It's either Kevin or Ark.
Yeah, I think it was Kevin.
Yeah, just DM me on really anything. And I'll send you the files. It's like $20 on Amazon.
Oh, cool. $20, man. That's a steal. Yeah.
And it's cool too. I mean, it's not plastic. It's like a thick cloth. Really nice. I mean, it's worth the wait. I had to wait like 3-4 weeks for it to get it from China, but
yeah, but that's not bad.
It's fantastic for what we're doing.
Right. Plus, it was that or spend $90 to get one from Walmart. So, figured why not. So the problem with selling them, Ark, is Ken's logo and the Unifying Phantom Network. I personally got hit with a good old copyright claim by one of the companies I use because we have the Star Wars logo in them. So can't sell them.
Well, and a lot of times selling that stuff, even I know, like when you open up a TeePublic store or any of that, you don't really make much unless you want to have tons of inventory sitting on shelves like clothing and because I know when the girls first started, they were pushing like, oh, you should sell your logos and these, and so we set up a T Public site and all that, and you literally make like $1.
What? Zoe's on?
Hey, Zoe. Yes, Zoe got hit with a bunch of her shirts got taken off of T Public, which is pretty funny for violations.
Yeah, I told Ken I sent the company like a manifesto, like a small novel breaking down how the fair use law works in this country.
This is one of the reasons why I love you so much, John. I love that you did that.
Well, I mean, I was personally offended because it's like it's not for profit; it's for personal use. I even marked it as a personal order, and they're like, "Nah, sorry, we don't care." It's like, well, yeah, that's fine. I just wasted an hour typing this small novel to you.
I just got a big. It's like a 9-foot by 8-foot banner of the Tatooine Desert, and the twin suns for my classroom because I was trying to do the interior of the Falcon, like the back part, and I just couldn't find pictures that looked right. So I'm going to put that behind my desk so it'll look like I'm sitting in the desert at Tatooine.
Yeah.
So
you should get a unified network. Ben Kenobi's hut.
I thought about that, but I was trying to find one that was already available on Amazon.
Oh, gotcha.
And this was like $24, and I had it in 2 days.
So now that we know that Zoe's on, we should pressure her to go see Magic Jump.
Yeah.
Yes, Magic Jump is not far from where you live, Zoe.
Yeah, Zoe. We need a picture of you in front of the Magic Jump headquarters. Giving us the big thumbs up.
I just want pictures of her at a California Mando merch party.
Magic Jump takes priority, man.
Maybe they'll have a Magic Jump at the. What if all the Mando merch have an inflatable Falcon?
I'm packing my bags and moving to California if that's the case.
Yeah.
Heather can hold down the New Jersey fort. I'm going to California. I got to get into the
That's like a requirement. For your photos, you have to jump in the
jump.
Like that's the first test. So yeah, she has that, and then she has is it Saber Guild Prime, Zoe? Is that Sal's temple?
He's not the master of Terras Kasi?
No, but it's Rob, the head of the temple there is the one. Here we go. Well,
you can walk there. It's not that far.
It's not that far. And I think John and Ken will pitch in. We'll do a 3-way. We'll do a 3-way Venmo for you.
You bet.
Yeah, make a donation.
I will donate to that fund.
We'll donate to the college fund.
Yeah, as long as you harass whoever this Elizabeth character is.
Yes,
for not returning our emails.
The infamous Elizabeth and her.
Yeah, never got a last name. I thought that was odd.
Skywalker.
Was it Miss Elizabeth? The same Miss Elizabeth from WWE?
Maybe.
Could be.
Is it Zoe? Is the temple? Is it the same one that you're going? Is it the same one that we went to? Here, let me see. Can I? Yeah, hang on. Hang on 1 second. Let me do this. Zoe, check your Facebook Messenger. And then we can harass you in person. Hang on. Maybe. Trying to type too many things here. Why does Facebook slow everything down? I would think by now they would run it much more lean. Yeah, there you go. There's Zoe. I sent you a link. There we go. Oh, I did like your car, that badge you got, John. Is that like a you wear
when he's not in costume?
Yeah. No, I think you should wear it when you're in costume. You know.
Yeah,
No, I was thinking, John, instead of doing an officer, you're talking about an officer, you should do the undercover boss guy.
Matt,
the radar technician.
Matt, the radar technician. That would be the best, like, one to wear when you're just like when you're going to the event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So wear a costume to go change into another costume. Talk about being meta. That's the way to go.
I guess
Kevin Sal is Lizzie's dad. Yeah, no, I that would just be, you just have to get that South African tack vest, grenade vest. It's from South Africa. Like they were giving those vests away, and then that show came out, and they were like gone.
Right. Yeah, I'm shocked they haven't made that as like a CRL yet.
Are you sure there's not a CRL?
I thought they did one for April Fool's one year.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, same with the Private Perkins from the Robot Chicken.
Oh yeah.
Admiral Leopold or whatever.
Well, see, Robot. Now, yeah. What was the magazine? There was a magazine. Used to be a magazine called Wizard. It might still be out. That did it was like a price guide for comic books. Then they did a magazine called Toy Fair. You guys remember that?
Yeah.
It was like a comic book size, and it did toys. Well, they used to. This was years before Robot Chicken. They used to take action figures and put word bubbles and make cartoons with those, and which I have one here. I'll find it for next time. I'm gonna write that.
One of our little bits could be show and tell.
Yeah, show and tell. There you go. I'm writing that down too.
That would have to be the live portion now.
Back to what this discussion evolved from. Let me see.
Ken, you're supposed to be our point man. Keep us on track, man.
Yeah, keep us on track.
I'm getting so caught up in the chats that are coming through.
Oh, here, yeah, I know. Here, and
wants to come visit.
I give Zoe a link, and I forgot to turn her on. There we go.
Coming to us live from the Rebel base.
Wait, your silhouette is there. You go. Whoa, your head. It's just her face. Is all California have bad internet connection? Because this is very reminiscent of when you and Lizzie first started podcasting. Remember those days?
It's not great.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's still daylight out there, and I envy that.
It's 7
It's good to see you from the left coast.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Ark said he'd pay $100 to see my basement. Well, I'll once I get the archway installed, I'll give another tour. I sent
show and tell, man. I'm telling you.
Huh?
Show and tell. Yeah,
I'll do a show and tell. Well, yeah, the segments, that's what we were talking about, but
whatever. So at your place we could do this. Not my place, not so much, and I haven't been to John, so I can't say. We could do an episode of Cribs.
Yeah,
MTV Cribs, except Star Wars Cribs, and do it in your stairwell leading into your basement.
Yeah.
So, funny story. I was actually obviously my dad did the Beskar bucket with me.
Yes.
Earlier this week.
I can't wait for that.
Oh, not to toot my own horn or break my leg getting down from my high horse here. Best episode I've done.
Awesome.
Sorry, Ken. Sorry, Jess. It was the fantastic.
I was hoping for you to say that, actually.
But yeah, it turned out to be a really, really good episode.
Where the heck did Zoe go? She dropped.
Probably. She's back. She's back. It's.
But
there she is. Oh, that looks better. It looks better. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's all right. We were talking about because he asked has anyone ever even seen the basement, seen our collection? And I said, I mean bits here and there. He's like, oh, you should do a whole video of doing a tour of the basement. So
yes,
that was already thrown out there recently, so I'm on board for the idea.
I think you need to count all the falcons you have and tell me what pieces you need so I can send you casts for all those pieces.
All of them.
How
All
many
of
you
the
need?
pieces. I think we've got 5.
So
Five
I
or
can
six.
no, because what I'll do is next time I cast some helmets, I'll lay those molds out. I'll just let the helmet lay in there so all the stuff runs in there, and I can make it's just runoff.
Yeah, I'll have to make a list. Yeah, because we've got so many falcons now that are just totally incomplete, in disarray. Because I think we just bought like 4 or 5 boxes of like old vintage Kenner stuff.
Oh, nice.
Where it was just like, hey, this is all just kind of garbage. So it's like, I'll sell these to you for like $100.
Nice.
So
now
That
you
fits
watch.
right
Do
into
you
the
ever
fastest
watch?
junk.
You ever watch the guys who spend like $200 worth of chemicals to make it white again?
Mm-hmm.
Or they can just pay $7 for some spray paint and
Call it a day.
Right.
What's
So,
your favorite
Zoe,
part
how-
about being on the West Coast there, Zoe?
yeah.
The weather's very, very nice.
What's the plans? Are you do you have an episode in the works by any chance?
No, these boyfriends over, and she leaves back for school again on Friday. So it'll probably
He could be
probably
on
not
there.
in person.
He could be on the show.
Yeah, no, but I'm just like, she's busy with stuff with him.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we'll get an in-person one once she's back out of school, definitely. Yeah.
You could do an episode on what the culture shock is like being on the left coast.
It's not much of a culture shock. I did. So one of my first days here, I went to Del Taco because I had to try it, right? Because it's the chain.
Do they have vegan stuff
here.
at Del Taco?
They do. They have Impossible Meat or Beyond. I forget which brand, but they use one of those, and for tacos and burritos. So I was like, well, I have to try it. I'm in California, gotta get Del Taco. So I went.
Does it come with nacho cheese?
The Beyond stuff didn't. I
Okay.
don't know if you can ask for cheese. I didn't because I can't have cheese. But anyway, so I order, and I sit down, and there's this random guy sitting there, and he goes, "You're not from here, are you?" I don't know what I did. I don't know.
Did you say you guys? Did you say use guys?
Use guys.
I don't think so.
Wooder? How did
I
you
don't-
pronounce certain words?
I don't know what I did. But
Did you ask where Wawa was?
I was like, yeah, he was very nice, and he's like, "Oh, welcome to Burbank. You should go to the mall here. It's really good." And he was like very nice, but that just initial "You're not from here." I was like, man.
Now tell these guys what your last meal was before you left Pennsylvania. Your last day of eating.
I had sheets for breakfast and a Wawa for lunch.
Of course. You gotta stock
Naturally.
up for the internship.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't have any of that here.
Kevin wants to know what's the most difficult cosplay costumes you've done.
I haven't done anything too difficult. Honestly, I feel like a Jawa is still the hardest as far as just wearing it.
Yeah.
I would say Jawa.
Because you just have
With
little eye
something-
holes to look through, right?
I feel like we had pretty good visibility. It was a good sunglass size lens.
Yeah, I
It was more
put
just-
sunglass lenses over a hockey mask.
It was more just the heat of it. It was kind of nice in the winter, I'll say, the Jawa costume. But summer,
Yeah.
which is when most troops are, I feel like usually, it's pretty brutal. And even in the winter, when you're inside, even if it's not a very hot building, it's still hot.
Well, and then Sabine, she lucks out because she's one of the few people that can put her helmet on or off.
It's great.
Oh, because she wears the
It's
wigs?
so great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of have to wear the wigs because the wigs are half the padding. Because we count for the wig when we pad the helmet.
Yeah, the helmet's adjusted for the wig on top.
Yeah.
Her first Sabine, we didn't have a wig. We used that spray paint. You spray your hair.
That was awful.
different colors. That was terrible.
Then I would take my helmet off just because I'd be inhaling paint spray fumes
Yeah.
when I had it on.
I think the only worse parenting I did than that was I made Safi Bendy. What was that guy's name? Brutus
He
from
was-
Bendy.
I don't know what the character is, but it was from Bendy
don't
and the
know.
Ink Machine.
Yeah,
It was
Bendy.
the
You
definitely.
guys ever hear of Bendy and the Ink Machine?
The
Yeah,
dog
definitely.
from
Brutus
Bendy and
the
the Ink
dog?
Machine.
I made her this Brutus the dog, and the head was way too big, but I made it out of fiberglass.
It was.
So we
It
went to
looked
this
good.
convention.
It was a really good costume. It was cool.
And we went to the convention, but the fiberglass still had that lovely.
It didn't cure yet.
Fumes, huh?
It hadn't cured yet.
It had cured, but the fumes was. It was just there was. It's still like you got like a light buzz just having it in the car.
Oh, geez, Louise.
Sounds like a great time.
What's Pennsylvania Protective Services?
Costume looks great though. Well, that's one thing here. Like everywhere, like every parking garage, my apartment complex has signs that are like, this area has like chemicals that are known to the state of California to cause cancer. Like everywhere, like that sign is everywhere.
Well, that's on shampoos and everything.
Yeah, well,
right, but it's just like in places, just like.
Yeah, they're very. Everything we use to make costumes has in California.
No, I'm not saying it's like whatever. I'm just like, man, we don't got signs in PA. We live with it.
Well, they've taken like when I was younger, California had like big smog problems and all kinds of stuff, and they're whether people like it or not, they're kind of proof positive that you can fix a lot of stuff if you force people to do it. I mean,
yeah, the apartment building's really nice. Tomorrow, I don't have any classes or.
Well, yeah, you have those cool rebel-based signs behind you.
Oh yeah, no, I went to the gym. There's a gym in my apartment building. I went to the gym yesterday morning. We have a pool and a hot tub, so it's pretty nice.
And it's in California.
Right, so it's by default, it's probably extremely nice.
And there's like four prop houses not far from her here. Like I was looking.
Cartoon Network Studios is down the street from me.
What is it?
Cartoon
Cartoon Network. Did you stop in and drop a resume off for them?
No,
yet?
I don't have a printer.
Oh, okay. Well, find it.
There's got to be a Staples.
No, there's a library. There's a library with printing.
Print that. Just walk in, say, hey, you might not have heard of me, but here's my resume.
It's all about the confidence.
Jobs today, okay.
Yeah, you got to walk in there like you own the place, because they're all fat.
My last name is Network. Say, look, I work for the company that owns Cartoon Network Hotel.
They don't. I don't think Palace owns it. Do they?
They own the hotel. I think they probably pay a licensing right to make the Cartoon Network.
You live in the Cartoon Network Hotel?
No, it's the company that owns Dutch Wonderland where she works over the summer.
Oh,
Amish Disney.
I make less than California minimum wage at Dutch Wonderland. I'm sure they'll respect that greatly.
So it's a Dutch Wonderland hotel.
No, it's the Cartoon Network Hotel. It's just it shares like a parking lot with Dutch Wonderland.
But the company runs it.
Yeah.
But the company that runs Dutch Wonderland is like an international company.
It's a cool hotel if you find yourself in Lancaster. I've never been in it, but if you just look at it, it's like, it looks cool. Good,
for those that aren't from Lancaster, it's the same as Lancaster. If you're.
Well, I had my onboarding for my internship, and I was like, "Well, I'm from Lancaster, Pennsylvania." It's like, I was like, "You might notice Amish country." The guy goes, "Wow, I didn't know there were Amish people in Lancaster, California." I was like, "No, Lancaster, Pennsylvania."
Hey, if it makes
you got to go to Knott's Berry Farm.
The same thing here.
I do. It's on. I have a California bucket list.
Wait, what's Knott's Berry Farm again?
It's kind of like Hershey Park.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the West? Is that the Wild West one I was telling you about?
No.
That's a different one.
No, Knott's Berry Farm. It's just like a Hershey Park. We actually drove past it on my way to the apartment.
Oh.
It's on my California bucket list.
And
along with Magic Jump,
Scum and Villainy,
Magic Jump. That's on Ken's California bucket list, so you get bonus points. And John made me say that, so it's really on John's bucket list because he runs the Best Car bucket.
Pretty long bucket list. I don't know if I'll get to everything. Yeah. A lot of
it's the Best Car bucket list.
Yeah, Ken,
I don't know. I think that's a good segment for. Anyway, that's a good segment for our show. It could be called the bucket list, and it could be stuff, and it could be something John brings to the inflatable Falcon. But we call it we call it John's bucket list.
That's a good point. God, you can't write this stuff.
And we're not.
Make
we'll
Mike
forget about
it. We can make Mike write it down.
Don't worry, I'm writing it down too.
Yeah, I was going to send Zoe some armor plates, but she didn't want any.
I don't have things to do with them.
What are you going to do with the armor party?
Take pictures.
I'm gonna meet the California Amandas, make connections,
and possibly maybe go to D23.
I don't know about that. If D23 wasn't on the Merc boards, and I can't get into Sunrider, so I don't know. I don't think.
Talk to Marcus or whoever those guys you just talked to.
I know.
What are Sunriders?
Sunrider's it's Southern California Rebel Legion base.
Hey, where's Sarah Young from? Isn't Sarah Young from around there?
Didn't she move?
Yeah, but I don't think they moved far. I think they just moved from there.
I can't keep track of where everyone lives, man.
I don't know, but I'm saying that
I got my own address wrong.
Yeah, I know. We had
your
a
home
nice
address or your hotel address.
My current apartment address.
Okay.
Yeah, I sent a package and it was a whole ordeal, and we wound up solving it. But
I delivered it here, so
yeah, I can't believe.
Yeah, that reminds me. I need addresses from all of you because I still have 1.5 liters of sand that I need to send out.
Okay.
So, Zoe, that includes you too. I have real Tatooine sand that I need to send out to everyone.
From where?
From Tunisia.
Tunisia.
Yeah, I had a buddy go on a mission trip.
You just send it to him. I don't need.
Yeah, I have. Well,
if I still stand in here, my roommates are gonna kill me.
I should bottle up the sand I have. I have sand from all the locations in Death Valley. Now the Death Valley sand was like busting rocks because it's so hot that it was basically like cooked.
Actually, that makes me think. Do you guys know what today is?
No.
Today is National Waffles Day.
No.
Oh.
Oh, I saw Star Wars.com posted Darth Maul waffles.
And
today.
what do you call it when you drop a waffle at the beach?
I don't know.
It's a San Diego.
Now,
or San Diego, I should say.
Magic Jump Rentals. What's the address on that? I'm trying to.
I looked. It's an 2-hour walk from me, but
no, it's
a 2-hour walk.
It's a 9-minute drive. It's 6.7 miles away.
Ugh.
No, but that's the rental place. I wonder.
It would be their headquarters.
I don't know. California is weird because around here, like you're like 5 miles, and there it's like 5 miles is like a 43-minute car ride.
Well, because of traffic, but also because there's like I was looking at something and it was like 6 miles away, and I was like, oh, it's not far, and it's actually much farther because you have to go around a mountain to go to get there.
Yeah,
so it's like West Virginia. Like, can't just go straight.
Kevin agrees that Knott's Berry Farm is the Hershey Park wannabe.
Oh, okay.
Or Hershey Park is a Knott's Berry Farm wannabe, depending on how you look at it.
I don't know. I do love Hershey.
Well, I still think
I don't know if I'll love it as much after I can't get in for free, but
right. But you can as long as Sappy works there. We'll just bring Sappy.
Did you earn one of those lifetime badges?
Well, no. When you work at Dutch Wonderland, you get free admission for yourself and one other person into Hershey, like the Six Flags in New Jersey, like a whole bunch of places.
There's nothing like what you want to do on your day off from working in an amusement park is go to an amusement park.
That's what we did, though.
Yeah,
it was fun.
I go to Dutch Wonderland. I see Ken and John don't know about the famous person at Dutch Wonderland.
Oh my gosh.
Zoe?
That is so fun. No, not me.
No, Sappy. So I was going and taking pictures and posting up, oh, look, a Sappy sighting, a Sappy sighting, a Sappy sighting. And then all these people started asking on the fan club, who's this Sappy and why should I be looking for her? And then what
Great,
did you
you
say?
just
Your,
made her a
what did-
stalking target. Wonderful.
What did you say
That's
your boss
parenting.
said, Zoe?
Yeah. Well, because other people were also posting like, oh, a Safi sighting, or like, oh, Safi was driving the train today. And then I was talking to my boss. So like, I'm a supervisor, Safi's an operator. I was talking to the manager of our department, and I was talking to him, and he was like, yeah, I was at my mom's house the other day helping her out with some stuff, and she asked me, who is this Safi? My boss's mom. Yeah.
So, because Marty and I went there to Dutch Wonderland one time, and we just waited by the train tracks. And when Safi came by, we like took her picture and we're waving to her like idiots. Because there's like the train like interweaves through the park, and like the little gates come down and stuff like that. So,
you guys will have to get free tickets next summer when Safi gets them. I'm not getting them.
But it's also, you can walk that whole park in 40 minutes.
Yeah,
like
it's kitty sized.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's a nice park, but it's basically for kids under 10.
Maybe
Except
12.
There's like 2
maybe
roller
12.
coasters, but there's not.
And the coasters are kitty coasters. They have Dole Whip.
Good snacks. Dole Whip.
They have Dole Whip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have Dole Whip, and they have
like,
Annie and
well,
Pretzel.
Sheetz has Dole Whip now, but they're like the only place besides Disney. For a while, they were like the only place besides Disney that has Dole Whip.
No, I don't think Sheetz has Dole Whip anymore.
No?
They had it, and they don't have it anymore.
That's lame.
John has his hand up.
What's Dole Whip?
It's amazing.
It's like soft serve pineapple.
Yeah, it's vanilla and soft serve mix, or vanilla and pineapple mixed together, right?
But it's not. But there's no dairy in it.
Well, so you can get vanilla and pineapple, but they have like their own pineapple flavor.
Okay.
Yeah,
and they can.
So does that mean Dole Whip is vegan?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So plant based.
Yeah. And then what Dutch Wonderland, they did a Dole Whip float. It was the Dole Whip ice cream stuff in pineapple juice.
Oh,
it
was good. It was really good.
And you've never had anything like that, John?
No, can't say that I have.
Oh, you're missing out.
It sounds like it. I love pineapple.
What's an Ohio snack that we should all be trying?
Maybe our next armor party needs to include a day at Dutch Wonderland.
Is corn plant based?
I think so. They do plant it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's Ohio for you. I mean, we got corn as far as the eye can see.
We're pretty corny in PA too.
Yeah, but ours isn't really people corn. Most of ours is like cow corn. Because I remember when we were kids, we went into a cornfield and took corn and tried to eat it, and it wasn't fun.
This show goes off the rails so easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Zoe, what's the newest Star Wars book you're reading?
I haven't done much reading yet, but my next one is to finish. Oh no, I knocked over. Look, this just came on my desk in the apartment.
Like we can't see it. Oh,
is that a succulent?
It's a little plant. It's fake. But anyway, my next book is Stories of Jedi and Sith. I started it and then life, but I want to get back to it.
Now, where are you seeing Rogue One at?
There's an AMC. There's like 2 AMC within walking distance because I have my Rogue One ticket at one and then my Spider-Man ticket at the other one.
Oh yeah. Are you checking them both out?
I didn't mean to, but it's just how it worked out because the other one wasn't showing Rogue One. The closest one to me wasn't showing Rogue One, but the other one was.
Well, you should wear a Star Wars Geek Girl T-shirt.
I don't have one.
So maybe someone will see you there.
Do you have any of those postcards to hand out to people in line?
I do.
I mailed her some. I sent her I sent her one of those. She needed some stuff that she forgot, so I sent it in one of those you don't pay for the weight, you just pay the large size. I packed that sucker because I got to update her cards anyway, so I want her to use up all those cards. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah,
one thing on my bucket list is to see something at El Capitan. So maybe I don't know how long Rogue One is playing, but maybe I'll see.
It's only one day.
No, it's not.
What's that famous
they
donut
have
place in
Saturday
California?
showings.
Oh, here it's only one day.
They have some Saturday showings here.
Wow.
I guess California's just bigger Star Wars fans.
I guess.
It was almost like it was made over there or something.
I think. Yeah, actually, this is it. This appears to be an all-week event.
No, good.
Oh, and of course, oh my God, of course I work. The closer theaters to me are playing it next week on Thursday.
Now, are you allowed to go to other theaters now that you're working at other theater?
Oh yeah.
Well, Ark, I would get a new girlfriend. Just
yeah, you don't need that kind of negativity in your life.
Yeah, nah, kick her to the curb. That's all she wrote.
And especially just don't let her watch it while she's driving your car.
She shouldn't be watching Star Wars while driving the car anyway.
Well,
hold on. Wait a minute.
Whenever we go on a long road trip with our family, at one point during the drive home, I always remind everybody to wake me up when we get there. Typically, I'm the one that's driving when I say it.
That's so on point for you, Kev.
Wait a minute. Ark's best friend finds Star Wars boring, and his girlfriend falls asleep. I don't know, Ark. I think you need to reevaluate your criteria for friends. No, I'm just kidding. They just haven't seen the right one. I mean,
they haven't seen Revenge of the Sith.
Or yeah, it's just I think. I mean, I guess it's not for everybody, but I also think if anyone wanted to start watching Star Wars, this is the time, because nerds aren't nearly as persecuted as they were when I was a kid. Because I think I've said on this show before, I never got the memo from like 1978, 79, 80. Like right after Empire was done its run, then there was almost like a backlash to Star Wars a little bit. Like so all my friends that they didn't like Star Wars anymore, and I didn't get the memo. And then in the 90s, man, until I think the kickoff of Star Wars really coming back, at least in my circle, was the Decipher card game. There was a Decipher. It was similar to Magic. It was like the height of Magic, probably 90. Let's say 93 or 4, somewhere around there. And they came out with a Decipher Star Wars card game. The game was garbage, but the cards were really nice. Mm-hmm. And they were those ones that started it would just be a picture of like something on the ground. It'd be Imperial landmine, and it was like screen gabs and stuff like that. So, and that's what I think that's what started bringing like Star Wars people back, because the cards, the gaming card was like really hot then. And so the Decipher cards were getting into people's hands that love Star Wars, and they were just such beautiful cards. Like they had nice photos on them. That was the first time I saw Han's dice on that card game. It had a picture of the dice in the Falcon. Mm-hmm. It was the first time I really recognized the dice.
Which is amazing, because they were there the whole time and we never noticed them.
And they were regular dice. They didn't have those weird symbols. They were just regular dice, spray painted gold, I believe.
I thought they were spray painted silver, but they showed up as gold on screen because of the lights, I thought.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's the first time I ever saw that in a Decipher card game. Here we go. My best friend watched something like 6-3.
That's a weird order to watch.
He fell asleep every time. He should get checked for narcolepsy.
Or are you watching it too late at night while sitting down or lying down? Because it's never a good idea to watch a movie while you're lying down. You're just prepared to sleep.
Well, I also wonder if someone getting into Star Wars now, it would be better to get into it with the TV shows. Just because of the way we watch movies and shows now, like with shorter, like watch The Mandalorian, they're short episodes.
Oh, I think it depends on what you want them to get into or out of it.
Yeah,
because I think the shows are great. The live action shows, whether you're talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi or Book of Boba Fett, or even The Mandalorian. However, those shows, well, with the exception of Kenobi, aren't necessarily connected to some of those legacy characters. You know, like Book of Boba Fett. There's no Vader, no Tarkin, no Luke, no Han.
Right. But I wonder if, like, the Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, a lot of those, what we figured as callbacks, you know, would be you could use them, reverse them to be hooks for someone else.
Yeah, definitely
You know,
possible.
like, oh, you think he's cool? Well, you know, and then you mention Boba Fett, or I don't know. I don't know what's the right way. I find it foreign when someone says they don't like Star Wars, only because I can understand someone that doesn't like it, but when people, you know, when they say they dislike it, I guess I don't understand that.
Well, and especially in a situation like this, we don't have the benefit of hearing what it is they don't like about it, or what they find boring. Because one of the things I truly enjoy about Star Wars, and I think this show is a wonderful example of it, is getting together to talk about it, getting together to dissect it, getting together to see it. Did I see what I think I saw? Did you pick up on, like the dice? Perfect example.
Yep.
That one little thing that was, in the scene for a few moments. Did you notice that? I didn't. So we go back and it was there.
Yeah.
And then going at the, the stuff beyond the screen, whether you're talking about what inspired the makers to put that on the screen, or how did the makers make this thing that showed up on the screen? So if you watch the Classic Creatures that was filmed in 1983, that little documentary about Return of the Jedi, John and I were talking about this on the episode of the Beskar Bucket. There were 3 people in the Jabba the Hutt costume, a 4th person underneath the Jabba the Hutt costume, and then 2 people outside of the Jabba the Hutt costume using radio-controlled remotes to make the eyes and stuff move. So it took 6 people to bring that ginormous costume of Jabba the Hutt alive.
Which got destroyed. They don't even have a copy of that. That was one of those ones that disintegrated.
Because of the foam and latex and all that?
Yeah.
Ark said about his friends. You know what, the other thing I think that for someone getting into Star Wars too, just like you said you like talking about Star Wars, there's nothing like watching Star Wars with a bunch of Star Wars people. It's kind of like trooping. Like, it sounds abstract until you get involved. Like, John's just starting to get into that, and there's whatever good, bad, and all that. But when you get into that mindset and you get with the people that enjoy it, it does change your perception of Star Wars and what it means.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things I love about the Star Wars Geek Girl, not only does Zoe have a podcast with Lizzie, they put out these little articles so you can read more about it from different points of view. So didn't you have a whole series of articles, mise en scène, like little scenes from
the
Star Wars
mise en
Rebels?
scène of Rebels. It was mise en ren.
Mise en ren
is what I called it. But it was about the mise en scène of Star Wars Rebels. Because mise en scène is fun to talk about because it just encompasses so much, and it was Rebels. So.
Yeah, well, Ark, you should have your girlfriend listen to Zoe's podcast, because I do think sometimes Star Wars and Star Wars fans, and Zoe can probably attest to this more than me, is it can come across, if not on purpose, the fans can be anti-female to female fans. Like, it's almost like they use jargon to put walls up around the female fans. Like, I watched grown men argue with Zoe about the Clone Wars, and I was like, yeah.
I won.
She won the arguments. I always felt sorrier for them. Like, in my head, I was thinking, "Oh, you poor bastard," because Zoe would like devour everything about the Clone Wars and had every piece. She was like Ken, like you are with all your background. And she was just like.
You had that character encyclopedia. That was my Bible.
Oh yeah, we had that. Well, we had that Fandex. Remember that Fandex?
Mm-hmm. That was in Clone Wars, but yeah.
Yeah, but
that's cool. I like that Fandex. We had one about dogs too.
Yeah, and you had one about presidents too.
I did.
Zoe, once in a while, Zoe would not want to talk, like, for whatever reason, and all you'd have to do is start misquoting history stuff.
Okay.
Like
No, because you said no. You and Mom said, Zoe, whatever word you say next, that's gonna be your nickname forever.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's what happened.
Right. So she wouldn't talk, and then I just started talking about how much I love Ben Franklin as my favorite president.
Well, wasn't it Abraham Lincoln that chopped down the cherry tree?
Yeah. So, yeah. But
have you seen Light and Magic yet, Zoe?
Yes, it was amazing.
What'd you think?
Fantastic. It was really cool. It was a lot of stuff I kind of knew already, but it was just, I don't know. It was always cool to see it in a new format.
You're at that stage. You're at that stage where you will hopefully be involved in something like that. Like, do you have any of that Light and Magic moments from when you were producer of Temple Smash, the Saturday night live version of Temple's show?
A little bit, maybe not, the fun slip and slide or the creating whole new technologies, but
well, yeah.
I
mean, you were on it.
I was George Lucas getting mad when people weren't on schedule. that was my Light and Magic moment.
Well, yeah, I think your special effects, you got to shoot. Didn't you get to shoot graphite pellets for the gun scenes?
I did, and I aimed very well.
Of Stray Ember, the movie.
Mm-hmm. Still not out.
Still not out. I think Jake is holding that movie, so if you become popular, then he's going to release it, and he can make money off of it.
Like that episode with Chang in Community.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you watched it all yet, John? All the rest of Light and Magic?
No, I'm my dad started watching it, so I'm waiting for him to catch up, and then we're gonna watch the last little bit together.
It gives you definitely a different perspective on like CGI, because I feel like all you hear all the time is people like, yeah, CGI is ruining movies, blah blah, and like you watch that and you're like, no, actually it's not. And like I think my favorite thing is, for the longest time I'd always see people be like, see like Jurassic Park, like that's an example of good practical effects. That's what we need, not CGI. And then you watch that documentary and it's like, no, that was all CGI. Like they did have some practical effects, but like all that stuff was CGI. And if the fact that you think it's a practical effect shows how good the CGI is, especially for that time.
That's what I've always said about Jar Jar. All these people that hate Jar Jar, they're just proving George Lucas made really good special effects.
Well, and going back to the dinosaur from Jurassic Park, you wouldn't have had the dinosaur from Jurassic Park if you didn't have Phil Tippett working on the Tauntauns and the AT-ATs from the earlier movies.
Yeah.
So, and one of the many great things I think about George and the teams that he creates or gets together to create stuff is they have this uncanny ability of taking a little bit of A, a little bit of Z, a little bit of W, mixing it all together, and literally and figuratively creating magic from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
I mean, stop motion is not a new thing, yet they took it and have advanced it to the nth degree, and we still love watching it.
Right. Yep. And I think like what something that really struck me from the documentary, and also something I remembered from the Phantom Menace panel at Celebration Chicago, was they were talking about, like George Lucas and his mindset going into filmmaking, and that's something I try to carry with me, not just in film, but in everything. It's his mindset is to say, like, this is what I want done, and you're going to do it. Not like when he's writing, when he's deciding, he's not thinking, like, how am I going to do this? Like, what he's just like, we're going to get it done. So I'm just going to do what I want, and not preemptively limit myself before I even know what I can do. And that's something I try to really carry with me, because I think, like, especially like, and that was something I had to keep in mind a lot as a producer for Temple Smash, because I would so often were like looking at scripts, or if I was writing something, and I would be like, I'd get caught off my head, like, man, like I have a $0 budget, like we're in Philly, we can't always find all the locations we want, blah blah blah. Instead of just trying to create something the best I could, I was getting stuck on things preemptively of worrying about what I couldn't do, instead of just going into it with the mindset that I am going to do it. And that's something I try to something I try to learn from George Lucas.
Man, you must have some good parents. No, I'm just... I will take all the credit, but Zoe is I deserve none of it. I've said this before to her, and I wish I was half as smart as she is now when I was her age. And I don't even know I was just an idiot when I was her age, and I wasted. I am so happy when I saw that documentary. It made me happy, sad at the same time, because
which documentary?
The Light and Magic.
Light and Magic.
I was happy because I just seeing all that stuff those guys did, it just made me happy. And then it was I don't want to say sad, but I was like, man, like I wish in my youth I was that brave. Like those guys were, they I mean, they were at the right place at the right time, but they were putting it all out there, and like if for all that they did, that could have easily, if Star Wars wouldn't have, if just certain effects weren't worked, or Fox cut whatever they wanted to cut and this and that, it could have all changed. It could have been a different documentary. Like,
goodness, yeah. And I think that's a wonderful connection. Just the idea of the Force, anyway.
Yeah,
that things happen the way they do because the Force wills it so. And as much as we'd like to go into the past and change it, the steps that we've taken are already taken.
Yep.
And now we get to decide from this step, where are we going to go and what are we going to do? And to your point about the inspiration that can come from it, look at what the four of us are doing right here tonight. 3 years ago, I wouldn't have imagined sitting down with three friends like all of you, for a couple hours, talking about Star Wars with the world like this. And now because of Zoe and Mike and John, I'm much more brave in putting this stuff out there for the world to see and hear. We got Art that joins us, and E-Girl and Kevin, not because they have to, but because they want to. So the Force has put all of us together in this spot, and it's pretty remarkable.
Yep.
And think about even just turn to the left and turn to the right. Look at all the things that you've created that have then inspired Zoe to do what Zoe does, and got John down the path of joining the 501st.
I'm curious. I can't wait till John troops first and his dad sees him troop.
Yeah, we're getting there slowly but
that's
surely.
Just that's one of those things I don't think you're ready for. What do you think, Ken?
I don't think there's anything that can really prepare you for it.
Yeah.
Because I usually don't speak in extremes. However, in this moment, I will. You never know how that's going to go until it goes.
I mean, John, you have a taste for it because you went to Steel City and you've gone to cons and you're in your. But when you're with that group, and I mean,
it's
no
different
one has
at a troop, and it's like kids.
Well, and when you're to your dad's point of being there in that formal atmosphere, with several folks that have also gone through the hoops of becoming approved. Because I'm going to guess, Zoe, for you that it feels different as an official Mando Merc than it does just showing up in a Sabine costume.
Great. I don't know how different it really felt.
Well, you were pretty excited to be.
I was very excited to be official.
Yeah.
But I don't know how different trooping felt.
See, Zoe's been doing this since she was 6.
Yeah, I remember my first troop. I remember two things. I remember there was Commander Cody. I thought that was really cool because I love Commander Cody. And I remember it was a really weird carpet design in the building we were in. I mostly remember the carpet. I think probably because my hood was falling over my face and that was all I could see was the carpet.
That was a Lou Gehrig's disease event.
Yeah.
We did it for all the families whose family members were suffering from Lou Gehrig's. It was a dinner that the hospital threw for them and all the little kids and stuff.
And there was a weird carpet.
But I also know Zoe was like, you were excited when you were like the point person for Rebel Legion in your Sabine.
I was, because I was the only, I was the only Ghost Space member at that troop. Because it was a Delaware troop, so there was the other Rebel Legion, but it was I was
See,
only Ghost Space.
I don't remember submitting your costume to Rebel Legion.
No, they just took me.
She just got in like we submitted to Mando Mercs and she got in. And then all of a sudden she got a notice that she was in Rebel Legion too, but we had never submitted the costume.
I'll take it. I love Rebel Legion. I just gotta get in my tie.
Yeah.
Then I'll be a trio, and then I can do the guild as Ahsoka.
Yep.
Well, there's too many groups now. I can't be in all of them. But I'll be in the big three. At least.
Build yourself a mouse droid, and then you can be in the droid builders too.
If I was gonna build a droid.
Or build a chopper.
Does Lola count?
Yeah, Lola would be a droid.
Yeah, I don't know if she counts in the droid. I don't know if she's a droid builder. I mean,
maybe not yet, because they have CRLs for the droids too, don't they?
Not really. The droid builders are. I don't want to say weird because that connotates bad.
Unique.
They're a unique group in and of themselves. Like they run with no structure. They have no hierarchy. They just kind of take care of their area, and no one seems to care. Because like Marty's kind of in charge, but Dave's kind of in charge, but neither of them are in charge. Like if you talk to either of them, they're like, "We're not in charge," but stuff gets done. So I don't know. I don't know how the droid builders do it.
I think I'd want to build Bucket.
Yeah, that Bucket would be
from Resistance.
Yeah, I also like Bo Keevil's droid.
Who?
Bo Keevil, the Caldor pilot. It's a yellow. It's a BB unit, but it doesn't roll like the other ones. It's a tread.
Yeah. I'll stay away from those BB droids. None of them work as that one with the donut worked really well at Celebration.
Well, that's like what, because I can't remember.
Have you seen the new emo droid that's going to be out with Andor?
See, that droid is not new. Rogue One marketing. He was in all the Rogue One marketing. Black.
Yeah, but he didn't have a name in all the marketing, I don't think.
Right. No, he did though. I forget what it was. But do you mean the black R2 unit or a different one?
No, the red one.
Oh, the red one. I thought you were talking about the black. Because that black R2 unit, he was in all the marketing for Rogue One, and he wasn't in the movie at all. Devastating.
We love that.
This one's called B2EMO.
B2EMO. I mean, no one beats K2SO.
Let's see if I can do this properly.
I see. Yeah, I saw this one. I don't like the droid. I'm sure I'll like it as soon as it like has a little personality. I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's the best droid ever. But for now, it's no K2. It kind of looks like a mop bucket.
Looks like a Gonk droid on treads. If you cut it up.
I don't know. I'm very hyped for Andor, personally.
Nice. Yep, but I don't know.
I know it'd be a cute droid to do would be the little Halloween toys, but like make it a real droid.
Oh yeah, I saw some people posting up all those Halloween toys. Here we go. Let's see.
Wonderful.
I have a blank screen. Why am I not seeing it?
I think Ken's frozen.
Ken's frozen.
Oh, no.
I thought he was just standing still. Ken is frozen. See if I can. Nope. Ken, you're frozen. Well, we can't blame California.
Not this time.
But
we can blame the decrepit state of New Jersey.
Well, yeah. I don't know, Ken. It ain't working. I am going to have to get off of here soon anyway, though, because I actually have to get up like way earlier than I have in like 2 months. So I'm going to.
I should probably eat dinner.
Yep. So.
Me too. Even though it's 11 o'clock here.
Oh, it's 8 here.
Yeah. So.
And I'm gonna probably stay up for She-Hulk tonight.
Oh,
that's right.
We used freaking. Wait. Oh, yeah. There's still small group funding against Malta. What? Oh, I'm stoked. I do somewhat agree with the guy who stated. Yeah, well, Android. I mean, again.
See, here's the thing, though. All the old Star Wars blasters are real guns with crap strapped to them.
Right.
So,
but I also think stills, and I think certain things. It's really cool to analyze stuff, but just like everything else, for all we know, the actor could be holding the blaster backwards. There could be all kind of greeblies on the other side. You know what I mean? Or the AK-47 could be making a statement. I mean, because the AK-47, it is a representation too. Like it was, if I remember my gun history correctly, it was stamped out of it's the good things about the AK-47. It was supposed to basically work all the time, no matter what. It was made a gun for the people or something like that.
The AK-47 is one of the most durable, reliable firearms ever produced.
Right.
It has so little working internals. Like for comparison, because the AK-47 and the AR-15 are the two most commonly known firearms. The AR-15 has so many moving parts on the inside, they jam like crazy. Where the AK, I mean, there's not a whole lot going on. The selling point of the AK is you could dip it in mud, run it over, and it would still fire reliably every single time.
So that's what I'm saying. I wonder if there was a statement being made either by someone or by, so I don't know. I love critiquing Star Wars, but when the critique just becomes nitpicking, like, if you look at some of the stormtroopers, they didn't even dress up some of the guns in some of the older ones. And like Princess Leia's gun, they just stuck a thing on the end of a sporting pistol, stuff like that.
Same with the DL-44. I mean, they added 2 or 3 greeblies onto a broom handle, and that's it.
Well, I think wasn't Han's pistol. Ken would know this better, but I think it was a pistol used by some guy that made like a sci-fi movie. It was already partially made. I forget the name of it. Was oh man, now I'm gonna have to look that up. But I think it was almost like a pre-made one, and then they just kind of added more to it. But yeah, it's I mean, and if you look at the Battle of Hoth, a lot of those they're straight up, because the Norwegian soldiers are just carrying rifles,
right?
So
yeah, the thing that I will always say is look at most of the I don't want to say modern, but modern-ish revolutions/rebellions from across the world. The AK-47 is the weapon of choice.
Yeah,
I love the fact that they didn't doll it up too much, at least for the one clip we see in the trailer.
right?
Because, like you said, it's the symbolism that's there.
Right.
So
I mean that's what I'm saying. Like I think there could have been, it could have just been one of those subtle symbolism. I mean, Star Wars is always supposed to be some sort of political, and some people don't like it all the time, but that is like the heart of all science fiction and stuff like that is it's supposed to teach you lessons without having to bang it over your head. So
yeah, it teaches you real world lessons outside of the real world.
Yeah. So I don't know if Ken's going to make it back, but I think we're going to call this one. And thank you, Ark, for hanging in there. Ark, have your girlfriend try Zoe's podcast. You can find Zoe, StarWarsGeekGirl.com, Star Wars Geek Girl podcast anywhere you find podcasts. And is it SW Geek Girl on Instagram? No,
Yes,
your Instagram's all
Twitter.
stuff.
Yeah, Instagram's weird, but
Yeah.
Twitter. And
Twitter.
I have this week I'm settling in, but next week I'm gonna get back into the writing and stuff. It was
Good.
It was crazy. It was a very busy summer, and then I just want a week to
cool. And
settle
John, you
into
find it
California life.
Beskar Bucket anywhere you find podcasts. And
new episode coming out on Friday.
Yep, it's gonna be a good one. So, here's Ken. Ken, here we'll say bye. Ken, we were just saying bye.
Oh,
we see the ship.
Blank screen.
Blank screen.
Oh
man, ship. There
Ken,
he
is. we were just saying our goodbyes, so we wanted to wait for you. We almost didn't make it. So where can people find you, Ken?
Well, they can find me co-hosting the Forces Behind Star Wars with the other 4 members of the Red Batch. That's Anthony, Demetrius, Steven, and Dexter. And we also have the Forces Behind Star Wars page on Facebook. We'll soon be recording an episode. Well, I'm not sure if we're going to divide up the Light and Magic into 3 episodes or if we're going to do 2 episodes. We still have to figure that part out.
Awesome. All right. Well, for everyone at the Inflatable Falcon, see you guys next week. And I'm going to shut the live off here, maybe.